Hello again. Welcome to Odds and Ends presents Shoot the Shit Saturday. Every Saturday, if you sleep through 90% of Saturdays. Yeah, you know. Anyway, what's up? It's our podcast, and today we're joined by Valkyrie Grinder.
Yay, that's me.
Ringleader. Yeah, that's right. I'm the ringmaster.
Alright.
What the hell was that?
The fuck? Obsolete 2003 is also here.
Yo.
To my left is Espionage DB7.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
And to my other left is Jess.
Hello from the get-go.
Oh, was that really a reading ask? I feel like it really wasn't. I thought you were just.
And I'm Nicholas Zombie.
wow.
Welcome to the shoot.
What's up with that?
Well, I want to know is when you're going to start implementing what I've made to be the trademark Odds and Ends intro. You know, the Odds and Endsers, In and Outers, Likens, Subbers, Twists and Shouters. No,
That's
it's the
your
Odds
thing,
and
dude.
Ends thing.
No, that's your thing.
No, that is totally your thing.
It should be universal. It should be our thing.
It is not.
I
It is
never
your
said it's our thing. Just none of us ever say it.
Yeah, none of us say
Well,
it.
you should. I've told you to say
Only
it.
you. No, we're not gonna.
God damn it.
You can't tell me how to
You're the one-
express
you're the one
myself,
with-
man.
We're the one with the happy-go-lucky reader and stuff like that with the intros.
Well, we're supposed to have like a universal type intro. It's uniformity.
What up? Oh wait, I was about to cuss. You
Uniform-
can't do that anymore.
What is this? Literally 1984? What is
Basically,
No,
Hey,
for the love of.
You must be.
Settle down.
You must be surprised.
It's been a while since you all been together.
Yeah, and it
Well,
shows.
that's
I
the
already
first
hate
pod-
everybody
This
here.
is the first shoot the. You know, we gotta change the name now. I just realized.
Shoot the
Yeah, it's also like trademarked on their channel and stuff.
No, he's talking about the first 8-second thing. Like we
Yeah,
can't
talking about the
curse.
first. Yeah, the shit in the title of our.
Well, see, that's
podcast.
another reason why my intro.
Maybe we can call it Shoot the Caca.
No, my intro would alleviate that problem. It would it's circumvented because it takes about 8 seconds to do that. Hello again, Odds and Ends. You know, it takes
Yeah,
about
but
8
that has
seconds.
nothing to do with the title, though. Say that.
Once we say that, we'd be good because we'd already passed the grace period of 8 seconds, and we could curse like motherfucking sailors.
No, actually, if you keep
no
cursing
point of the
too
grace
much.
period. We'd just like sit on a single complaint like God
Yeah,
half the
we curse a
damn
lot.
fucking show.
We're like
Yeah.
sailors.
Arr.
Are we
If
gonna
you
talk
don't know-
about something?
Huh? No, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about
something.
YouTube's
This is something.
YouTube's
This is what we're
bullshit.
discussing.
Yeah,
We have a couple things to discuss. YouTube's bullshit for one.
Netflix
But,
is
hey, we don't
bullshit
get
for another.
we don't get monetized. I heard Netflix's bullshit was over, but we can talk
I heard
about
about
that as
that
well.
too. They kind of
Yeah, we'll see. We'll get there. We'll also talk today about Last of Us, the episodes that are out currently,
Yes.
which will date this episode, but they're all dated. So who
Episode
cares?
4 comes out tomorrow. At
It
the
comes
time
out.
of this.
Oh yes,
Upload.
Yes, tomorrow. And other things, probably if we remember them. So let's start the show off with YouTube's bullshit. Esp, as leader of the channel, talk about it.
Thank you for acknowledging my placement at the head of the table here.
Yeah.
No, as
And
far as
Hobbs, as god of the channel, I want to hear what you talk after him.
wow. No, if you're talking about the bullshit I heard, this is a few weeks old, but yeah, I heard that supposedly they made some rule where you can't, if you curse within the first 8 seconds of a video, your video gets immediately demonetized. Is that the bullshit that you're referring to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally 1984.
Literally 1984. Really?
Yeah.
First of all, I rebuke your usage of the word literally when it is not properly being used. Secondly,
Because if anything is said within the first 8 seconds, that's literally demonetizing it.
dude, literally 1984 literally would be like fucking, you know, whole Big Brother. I mean, I'm not saying we're not living in some version of that, but the YouTube thing does not have anything to do with that. Literally, YouTube is just being greedy, stupid fucks. That's pretty much it. But yes, I do think that's dumb, and yeah, but like Nick said, if like as soon as we say "Welcome to Shoot the Shit Saturday," if we were being monetized, we would immediately be demonetized under those rules.
Me or not?
Right? I hope to someday.
Never
But-
happened. That's why you can join our Patreon. We don't have that either. That doesn't make any sense.
OnlyFans. Nick,
we have that.
Regular copy.
We technically do have an OnlyFans.
Because Patreon has its own sorts of problems.
I still question why we have an OnlyFans.
Because we need money, Val.
My feet ain't going up there. That's all I gotta say.
S is destitute.
I'm not a prostitute. I do.
I said destitute.
Oh. Jess has been trying to say
Coffee,
something.
I guess. I said, we in fact have a coffee, similar to Patreon, but we do in fact have a coffee. If anyone wants to donate, that's where you go.
Yeah, his name is Michael. Pay us and you'll see him naked.
I can't promise that. Anywho, if we do have that coffee, put it in the description that no one clicks on.
No, I don't have naked pictures of Michael Coffee.
Oh man, I can't wait to hear him.
What?
What?
What? Alright, anyway, YouTube is fucking insane. I don't know what the hell they're thinking about that. But speaking of other internet companies that are doing stupid things, Netflix.
So with that, I heard that they were implementing all kinds of bullshit password sharing restrictions. And then if I think Nick was talking about
earlier today. I mean yesterday.
Supposedly they did one of those "oops, didn't mean to" moments. They put up a Twitter post or something saying, "Oh, those restrictions. No, we didn't mean to apply those. You didn't see that."
Apparently, they were on the website about the new restrictions, and they take it off like, "Oh, that was a mistake."
Yeah, because the whole internet was basically up in arms about it. Which, yeah, a lot of people.
They didn't even were like.
This way, parents, you literally have to pay for additional people on your account. So imagine not being able to watch your account that you're paying for on top of your profiles. Is what I'm trying to make point here, is that you're the additional people, because that's what we had to do.
There are
on a different device and not being able to do that. So
There was actually a really interesting comparison that I heard about when I was hearing about the Netflix thing, and it involved Disney. Apparently Disney started implementing some of these nickel and dime policies. Like, they got a new CEO, and he started implementing these nickel and dime policies on their customers, and within yeah, literally within, I think it was weeks, their stock prices dropped 50%, like plummeted 50%. And so they fired that CEO and rehired the old CEO and started walking back some of those nickel and dime policies. And it was referenced that Netflix will go the same way if they try to do this password sharing restriction nonsense. And it's absolutely true.
Bob Chapek is the one that got fired. Bob Iger is the one that got rehired. Whether or not Bob Iger is any better is debatable.
And they love Bobs over there.
Yeah, big question is, where are all these Bobs coming from?
Yeah. The Bob farm?
And then, we're in the Office Space, weren't they the Bobs? Remember the ones like?
They were the Bobs.
I gotta talk to the Bob. I guess corporate heads are just Bob. You know, it's like you're born with the name Bob. You're destined for
great
corporate greatness.
Yeah.
But in regards to the Netflix thing, it is absolutely stupid. Because first of all, you have if you have the basic, like the most basic plan, you're limited to one screen. So if you want to have more than one screen, you get the standard plan. Yet the standard plan gives you more than one screen, but then you have all these contingencies or all these extenuating circumstances. Again, what if you have a child that goes off to college? You know, a child goes off to college, maybe in another state, can't be bringing. They implemented this thing where you have to bring the device home, check it in with your home Wi-Fi, like log into the home Wi-Fi network, and then take it back, and you're good for another 30 days. What you know?
Sound familiar?
It does, right? But anyway, that's one of the things that they implemented. So if you're a college kid and you want to use your parents' account, you know, and you live in another state, well, guess what, kid? Now you got to come home at least once a month, which maybe is good for the parents. You know, get to see Junior at least once a month, but. Anyway,
it's so great you're coming to visit. Yeah, I just wanted to fucking
exactly.
Thanks.
Look,
Bye.
Mom, I'm just gonna literally sit in the park in the parking space. I just want to connect to the Wi-Fi and I'll be on my way. And there's people that travel extensively on business trips. Some people are away 2-3 months at a time, depending on what kind of business they're in. They might be gone for a while. There's people that have summer homes. What about like if you have a shared custody thing? Like let's say your son spends 1 or 2 weeks at one house and then 1 or 2 weeks at another. That's another a whole nother bag of bullshit. So Netflix.
I feel like if you have a summer house, you can afford to. Netflix counts, but
yeah,
it's just me.
Yeah, true. But those are the people that are probably like the most pissed off about it. The penny pinchers, so to speak. But regardless, I mean,
Well, as far as like on a actual personal, my father actually pays for the Netflix, but he doesn't use it. I'm the one that uses it the majority of the time, and he only pays for it for his grandkids so that they can watch their shows.
Well, in that case, your household is considered the main household, and if your grandfather, who is the one that pays for it, ever decided he wanted to use it, he would be shit out of luck under this new policy.
Yeah, my father, not my grandfather.
I'm sorry, your father.
His father.
But yeah,
but he is a grandfather.
Your kid's grandfather.
Yeah, he is a grandfather, but he's not my grandfather. But yeah, no, absolutely. I think this whole new policy that I don't know if it was they tried or they're trying to implement, is absolutely ridiculous, and they're gonna lose customers and money by it.
They supposedly tried, but since it got so much backlash, online by pretty much everybody. I mean, this thing was more poorly received than Velma. Supposedly
that says a lot.
They rescinded it and pretended like April Fools, guys, that wasn't ever a thing. But I have heard that they're still going to try to implement it, but more quietly and in segments starting in March. That's something else that I had read on online somewhere. On Reddit.
I heard too that they're going to do that in March.
Yeah, but it's dumb. I mean, again, and also like, what if people work in an office or somewhere where they can enjoy Netflix while they work, and they're not at home? That's another thing that's going to screw people out. Like, if you mess with people in that way, people are just going to cancel and go somewhere.
I saw a great TikTok about yelling about this, where it was like, how bad the world is right now? How expensive it is to live? If you take away the one thing that's numbing us to this, we're gonna fucking murder everyone.
Oh,
basically.
Dude, I just hate the fact that every single... Okay, subscription service is fine. They're good. But I hate that everything is turning subscription-based. I mean, I remember that whole BMW thing where they had, like, heated seats, but if you wanted heated seats, you had to pay.
That sounds insane. Insane.
I bought some security cameras for the house about 2 years ago. And they came with a 1-year trial, and I forgot it was a trial, for recording video. These cameras are basically useless now unless I want to have a live view. They will not record any footage, even though I have a USB, or not a USB, a SD card implemented into, there's like a little module that comes with them, and I guess that's for the storage. Even though I have a little card, they will not record unless I have a subscription to... it's not Ring. What is the other one? God damn it.
This is actually why you don't buy cameras that don't have a subscription. That have a subscription. You go for the
But the more that this model succeeds, the more we're gonna see it. We're gonna see pretty much fucking subscription. I had heard that there was a washing machine. No, hang on. Let me finish my thought. I had heard, I don't know how true it is, but that there was a washing machine that had certain, like, more extra soft spin cycle or some shit, and if you want that, you had to get a subscription, or that's something that they were thinking about. The more that we see this model succeed, because people fucking pony up the dough for it, the more that it's going to be prominent, and the more that it's gonna fuck the world up. That's
so. What if every single producer does this, and there's no alternative?
Well, because as consumers, we have shown them that it's successful because we continue to buy this shit.
In some cases, it's not even an option, though.
Exactly. The more that we see it, but it's a cause and effect. It's a vicious cycle. It becomes less of an option because of the fact that more and more people are engaging in this scummy practice.
I will say, though, that in terms of cameras, just so you know, off subscription cameras are still popular. The reason why is because if you use a subscription based service, certain government agencies can access your cameras and access your storage without permissions. That is why they are so popular.
Well,
as for devices, so far, yes, the BMW one is true. It's also true that Mercedes, I think, was doing this thing where if you pay subscription, you get more power out of your vehicle. So they're
see, all of that is bullshit. If you
hold on, wait. But I do recall though that there are efforts at the government level in order to restrict kind of things. Because here's the thing: you purchase a vehicle, right? Say it's like a 150 horsepower vehicle, 4-cylinder, whatever, right? You bought the vehicle with that power in mind. You bought the vehicle with those features in mind. That is why those subscription services currently in vehicles are with Mercedes and BMW. They're not the current with Ford, Dodge, and so on and so forth. Except for XM radio and stuff like that, but that's not a guarantee.
That is actually a little bit incorrect in the view of Toyota, because I know for a fact that some Toyota vehicles, a good portion of actually the newer vehicles, do have a subscription-based service, and it's to like, it sounds silly, it's really more of a luxury, but it's to like remote connect to your car so you can turn it on from a phone in your app. And things like that. It's not anything. I don't believe it's. Yeah, I don't know if they've added anything that actually limits the power to the car. Because when I did work for them, it was a long time ago. But I do know that they did have a subscription-based app service that they were using as well. And I think a lot of retailers and car manufacturers are doing that, especially on newer, more computerized vehicles. So I'm just putting that out there.
Here's my thought on this. This is how I see it. I can understand a subscription-based service if it requires some sort of app interface that requires, general maintenance. Obviously, you have to have people working on the app, working on the functionality of the app in order to keep it. So a subscription service makes sense. But if it's something like to unlock a feature that's already built into a device and you just have to pay to unlock that feature, and it's not something that you're really relying on somebody to provide any kind of service, it's just an unlock, that's bullshit. Because when you're paying for the device, be it a washing machine, be it a car, be it a fucking camera, whatever, you pay for the device and its functionality. If my camera relies on my Wi-Fi in order to record video and I provide the storage in the form of an SD card, there should be no fucking third-party subscription involved because the device has those capabilities built in. Now, if I want to have where I can like check in on my camera and do different things and the app requires constant updates or something like that, I can kind of see that. But if all I want is for my fucking camera to record, do what the fuck the camera's supposed to do, I should not have to pay for a subscription service. The same thing goes for a washing machine. If it has some kind of built-in functionality that does not require third-party maintenance or constant app interface or updates and all that, then fuck you, unlock my shit, leave me the fuck alone. Get bent. That's my last word on that.
Whoa, man. Get bent?
Get bent to all those people that would fucking...
Whoa, dude. Whoa.
Yeah, really?
Kind of circling back to the Netflix thing. Kind of went to a huge arc. But basically what's going on is the digital streaming bubble popped. And it was at its peak during peak COVID for the past 2 years. But now that COVID is kind of under wraps, or it's not so big of a thing now, people are going out now. The restrictions aren't really there, so people are able to get out of the house now, and people aren't streaming anymore. It's all about money. It always boils down to money. They're losing money in subscription. People are canceling and all that, so that's why they're trying to do the crackdown on the account sharing and trying to nickel and dime and this and that. And I'm pretty sure other companies will be doing the same, but the whole streaming thing is really changing now, and But yeah, the streaming bubbles popped, and you're seeing all these consolidations, these buyouts, and everyone's hemorrhaging money. And what I'm worried about is AMC Plus. They are gonna get rid of Shudder because Shudder is a niche thing. It's only horror.
That sucks.
And yeah, so they're thinking about getting rid of Shudder because it's like, why keep only a horror platform when there's other genres out there? So a lot of streaming companies are just losing money, and they're just trying to figure out how to bounce back or how to make more money, even though they're making a lot of money. But yeah, it's interesting to see what happens. But yeah, Netflix is trying to do damage control with this account sharing, even though there's a picture of them with a tweet that they shared that True Love is sharing your password or something like that, and now they're trying to crack down on account sharing. But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
You can also blame it on partially also as well as poor business practice in terms of developing their programs that are on streaming. For example, one example I could probably cite, well, two of them really, is Belma for one. They dumped a lot of money into Belma. Mindy headlining that, but of course they did try. The company who created did try to cancel the whole deal because it was, not good, for a lack of a better phrase.
But it got season 2.
Yeah, well, the thing is,
we're not done with season 3.
The thing is about Velma is that it's actually getting a lot of viewership just because of this whole hate watching thing. I'm sure y'all have heard about that.
Right, but the problem is that's not sustainable.
Yeah, after about 3 episodes, people get like, okay, I'm tired of this fucking puke fest.
Now, let me finish. There's another point I'm driving home here. Another situation, well, with Velma is that for them, they could have canceled it to keep the whole thing under wraps. But they put so much money on Mindy's contract that it would actually cost more to cancel it than it would to let it go. So there's that. And then there was another thing which is a sign of it. Two more is first Netflix and its programming. Netflix tends to cancel programs even though they have high viewership. They give them like one season and then they cancel it. That's and even though these programs are popular with a certain group, they just like, no, we're not going to do this more. We're going to do something else, which means you lost money on the program because you wanted something that was a big banger, like say, I don't know, Rick and Morty or some shit. Another one example is
Rick and Morty later too.
Yeah, we're not. The thing also now, another example which is also Netflix is The Witcher. Okay.
Blood Origins.
Blood Orgies?
Blood Origins.
Oh.
Because I heard that there's a few Witcher shows, but the one I heard was terrible was Blood Origins.
No, we're not talking about Origins. We're talking about the one that was with Henry Cavill. That one, the issue was that they did the thing that they do, which is they tried to change up the storyline to appealing to a certain crowd. Who that crowd is, I don't fucking know. They've done it with several other shows, Cowboy Bebop, and other such programs where they diverge so much from the source material that it's unrecognizable and often unwatchable. And same thing, and then you have a situation where either people stop watching it or you have cast members leave. For example, Henry Cavill himself bailed because it was so far from the source material, it makes you go, what the fuck are we watching?
What about he bailed because DC promised him Superman, and Superman was like, fuck you.
No. He's actually making the jump to Warhammer.
No, but he left The Witcher because he thought he was going to come back as Superman. And DC was like, nah.
No, he didn't.
The Witcher because they kept changing
the storyline.
And when he originally signed up to be The Witcher, he was told that they were going to keep it to the books, and they did not. And
they did not at all.
Of the second season of Witcher was just Yennefer and Ciri, when that's not exactly
it's one of those. It was one of those. It got worse as they went along, and it got worse. And he's like, I can't do this. And that he did state specifically that's his reason why.
Okay.
Now, one streaming service I am looking forward to see improvement on is Warhammer Plus.
Warhammer Plus a streaming service?
Yes.
What? The fuck?
Yes. It's been there for a while. If those who are familiar with Warhammer more in depth than most will know of the issue with Warhammer Plus, which was Warhammer was known for having lots of fan-made properties on YouTube and stuff like that. It's good stuff in general. Astartes, the Emperor's Text to Speech, Hell's Angels, and stuff like that. It's good material. But the problem was that since what was it, Games Workshop was trying to push a new TV service of their own, they basically threatened fans that were using fair use material with lawsuits to quell down the potential competition, if you will. Though they did extend offers to one or two of those YouTubers for their material. But however, though, this might be a good way to revitalize that particular service, because if Henry Cavill is basically been the reins of the whole project, saying, "Here, you made Warhammer shit. We know you're a fan, and we know you'll stick to it. Do good things and see what happens." So I'm looking forward to the materials that he's going to come out with, and he said that he wants to be personally involved and even act in some of the stuff as well. So there's that. It's kind of a wishy-washy market though, currently, with the whole, like you said, the whole thing with the passwords and stuff like that. It's one of those eras or times, right, where things just have to straighten itself out in one form or another. But the thing is, and I'm sure you all agree, the production companies need to stop looking at dumping programs and then bailing right after that. That's the one thing that's hurting the bottom line, because you're not building appropriate viewership by abandoning popular projects from the get-go. You need to stay committed to your projects, and also convince your execs not to be dumbasses about it and just abandon it at the first hint and sign of trouble. I have seen shows that rise and fell, some that were bad at first, but they improved over time and had multiple seasons. Why is this happening now so much with Netflix and Hulu? What is this? What is Fox? Universal or Fox? Back in the 2000s, where they're canceling all the most popular shows just because they wanted to make a quick buck instead of actually having long-term progress. How are they doing?
With that, I think you've given us the perfect segue into one of our other, probably the most prominent topic of the evening, our viewership of The Last of Us, which is a show on HBO Max, and unlike some of these other shows that we've been talking about, I personally think is doing a fantastic job. Obs and Nick, you guys are probably the biggest Last of Us fans in here, so if y'all want to kick us off on that, I open the floor to you.
Yeah, I'll just start off with saying it's so fucking good.
It is.
It's just like so fucking good, and it's like, oh my god, why can't everything?
Why is it good?
This fucking good.
That's the question that he's terrified.
Why is it good? I am getting there.
Yeah, give him a.
But before I get there, it's so fucking good. Obs, what do you think?
And I am enjoying it.
Okay, I low-key thought you were going to say it's so fucking good to go follow what he was going to say.
I was kind of hoping it was.
It's Hobbs.
Lateral.
He is tastefully understated.
Yeah, honestly, you're right. I wouldn't have any other way. Anyway, episode 1 is the fucking intro to the game, which is perfection. The intro to the game is perfection. Yeah. They just add on a little bit more for Sarah, which is fine, because if people don't know the game, they're gonna like, oh, this little girl is obviously gonna be important, and then just gut punch.
They did that so good.
Oh yeah, they did.
The outbreak.
I will say so fucking good. But anyway.
I will say about episode 1 that the one detail that they changed, but I thought it worked just fine, was the fucking airplane crashing into the fucking.
It was
street.
Great. It was so fucking good.
Man, watching those planes go down was.
Val has something to say.
This was Nick and Ob's time. Don't interrupt. That is all. Have a good day.
Appreciate you, Val.
February 1984. Anyway.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I love when like Ring's talking. Is like, can I finish? But then when we're talking, like, get the fuck out of the way. I have something to say. Either who. Yeah. Episode 1. It's just a game, and it's great. And they add on things that are just like great, like getting Sarah apart. That kid coming in, and then he's infected, and take him out. I didn't like the way Ellie looked. She looked kind of weird. She has a big forehead.
She's grown on me.
Person. She'll grow into it. But holy shit, she's just Ellie. She is Ellie from the game.
Yeah,
it's
just doesn't look like it.
Yeah, she doesn't look like it, but that's fine. Whatever.
Same thing with
But
Tess.
yeah, Tess is pretty much. Well, Tess was fine.
She didn't look like Tess, though.
And oh man, Pedro Pascal's Texas accent is perfect. He just sounds like Joel from the game, and it's outstanding. Episode 1, at least, that's what I thought about episode 1. Episode 2 is great as well. I do miss the spores. I don't know if anyone else misses the spores.
I think they're starting to...
I thought, like, I was gonna ask y'all if they were gonna include that or if they did, because...
Yeah, they're not, because they just don't want to put mask on actors' faces.
I do like the
so real.
concept of the fungus tripwires. How basically...
Yeah, that's
Seems
new and
weird.
I like
Honestly,
it.
Well,
I like watching the fungus grow, but like towards the end of the second episode when they're departing from Tess, and you have that zombie fungi dude on the ground after he was unalived. Well, and you see it, like the fungus grow in between his fingers. Like, I love that detail, and watching like how, because they mentioned like the triggering of that, and I'm sorry as for interrupting you, but they mentioned the triggering of that, and so you see how that plays a part in them being alerted as well. So it's good.
Yeah, they did get rid of the spores because of actors, but it's fine. I just I really like the spores. It was a cool concept.
Right. Real quick, if I may, I do want to, just for anybody who hasn't, because I feel like we're just mentioning random scenes without giving like a coherent like synopsis or whatever. For anybody who hasn't seen the show, and probably should have said this sooner, but spoilers. Just a quick synopsis of what it is. Basically, in the 60s, a virologist or something, I don't know what he was, some kind of scientist, basically predicted that eventually fungus, things like cordyceps and aspergillus, shit like that, dangerous fucking killer fungus, could mutate to the point that it could survive in humans, and all it would take would be something like a small change in the temperature, which with the global warming and all that, it makes it possible. So basically, there's a big outbreak. Any zombie outbreak that you've seen in any movie is pretty much this, but this is done to perfection. In the scene where the outbreak is happening, it really encapsulates the feeling of dread, uncertainty, confusion, and sheer mass panic while the outbreak is happening. Our main protagonist is trying to get away with his daughter, which, as Nick mentioned earlier, you'd think is a character that's going to be part of it, but you get gut punched and he loses his daughter. Fast forward to about 20 years later, humanity is basically surviving in a dictatorship-like world.
It's more like a military,
military martial law world. There's these groups, this group called the Fireflies. It's basically rebelling against the government. Joe and his girl Tess are just kind of trying to survive in it, but he has a brother who he escaped with the city at the beginning of the outbreak, but he's lost contact with his brother. So now he wants to get out and try and make contact with him because he thinks something is wrong. They get wrapped up with this girl named Ellie, who is special because she was bitten and she didn't turn. She is infected, but she hasn't turned. So the Fireflies believe that she is key in possibly finding some kind of cure or vaccine against this virus. So they want to get her, I don't know if it's across the country, but it's a good long distance to some laboratories. And
it is cross country all the way from Boston to Utah.
Okay, so yeah,
I thought it was in like Portland or something.
No, it was Utah.
a long fucking way. Anyway, the girl that was originally going to make the trip with her ran into some complications. They crossed paths with Joe and Tess, who were already trying to escape for their own benefit. So I don't remember the lady's name, but the one that was going to take Ellie, she basically made a deal with Joe and said, look, I'll get you a truck, all the supplies you need, just take Ellie and get her to the rendezvous point. They get there. Before they do so, they run into some clickers, which clickers are enemies in the game that are blind, but they're known by that. I can't do the noise, but
They click.
They make clicking.
Yeah.
They make clicking noises, and in the scuffle, they manage to survive, but unfortunately, Tess does get bit. She hides the bite from Joel and Ellie until they manage to get to the rendezvous point. When they get there, they find out that all the fireflies that were supposed to be waiting there were wiped out by the infected. At which point, Tess reveals to Joel that she has been bit, and she tells them, you know, they trigger, like Val said, the fungus starts growing from between their fingers, and that kind of works like a trip line. Apparently all these infected are connected somehow through the fungus, and it awakens pretty much every infected in the city, and they start charging to where they are, to which Tess basically decides, you know, I'm gonna kill myself to buy you all some time. She shares a very passionate moment with one of the infected, at which point she blows everything up, and Joe and Ellie are, you know, forced to move on. Joe, of course, carrying that sorrow, that regret, that resentment that he just lost Tess. And that's where we reach episode 3, which was the latest episode, which I will say was very well done, and it got to me. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it made me.
Oh, yeah, I have not been able to say episode 3 yet, so I'm gonna jump back in. Wow. How to make a kind of nothing fun character into something that just grabs your heart and rips it out. I'm like, see?
So you haven't seen episode 3?
See that you can feel? Huh?
No, I said you haven't seen episode 3?
What the fuck did I just say?
I just confirming.
I did. I just said I did.
You did? Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know. Okay.
He doesn't listen to me.
I wanted to make sure I heard you right. Why is that a bad thing? Rather than just assume that I heard you properly.
Val hasn't watched episode 3 yet.
Val, you haven't?
I haven't gotten through all of it.
She got to the hot and heavy part and she's like, oh, mercy.
You got to the hot and heavy part?
And I'm going to bed.
More heavy than hot, but...
Yes, well, yeah.
Anyway, it's a great show.
It's great.
I mean, the great thing is that they are adding their own elements so far, but they are not straying far from the source material, nor are they disrespecting the source material, which is something that so many shows, I think, tend to do. They basically take the source material just to get a hold of that built-in audience and then tell their own story rather than telling the story that the original writers or creators intended to tell. But as far as I know, the original writer / creator is heavily involved in this.
Yeah, but Druckmann's kind of a dick, though, because he tends to switch things up later on. I mean, he did the same thing with the second game, and he probably did the same thing with...
Well, it is his story.
And also, he did tell...
People did write the story, not just him. But, you know.
But he did tell Pedro Pascal not to pay attention to the game because they want to do their own thing, which does not signal well with me, knowing Druckmann's history. Let's see how
Pedro's never played the game.
Pedro's never played the game?
Him or the girl, the actress playing Ellie, they've never played the game, so...
But Pedro did watch someone play the game after being told not to.
Good.
Which is why how he nailed the performance so far.
He's so good at it.
Obbs, what are your thoughts?
Also, Pedro Pascal is just a damn goat. Like, holy hell. Mandalorian, this. He doesn't miss.
I will speak for the people that haven't played the game but are watching this show. I heavily enjoy the show, even with zero context. It's in so much as knowing what happens in the games. It's really a lot of fun and has gotten me actually kind of interested in either playing or watching a let's play of this particular game. So it's very engaging, and it's a lot of fun. Excuse me, a lot of fun to watch and enjoy. And as far in so much as the premise behind it, behind the whole cordyceps mutating, the fact that is something that could actually happen in our real world, that premise just amazes me. And I also think it's a sign of where our world can be headed to if we don't change certain things, but we're not going to really get into that.
I think the word you're looking for is terrifies, not amazes.
Yeah, it does terrify me too. It does terrify me too, but at the same time, it's like the fact that they were able to put this into a video game and now a show, that's the part that amazes me. And they're obviously, very obviously making a statement. And I enjoy that into it when watching this.
Was global warming even in the original game, though?
Who?
The global warming aspect of it, was that even in the original game?
No, in this one.
Yeah,
it's that opener, and that's about it.
Yeah, and what that serves to do, first of all, that opening is chilling, especially the way the guy says, like, well, what happens then, Doctor? And it's like, we lose. It gives it a believable premise, at least in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, though, not long after that, there was a lot of interest in, because of how the events portray the jump in evolution in order to do that. And they did, a lot of scientists came out and said, in order to make that kind of a jump in evolution, it requires not just global warming, it will have to require like a whole rewrite of the code of the fungus in general.
Yeah, so, I can't believe they're taking such liberties with non-fiction.
I know. I can't believe they would do that for the zombie
remember,
show.
it's a fucking story in a game that's just made up shit on the go.
Exactly, so why are you prying into this?
Because people try to take it at face value when you really...
Dude, it makes it creepy.
It's a zombie show.
Yeah, it's not like it's a thing.
It's supposed to be, you're thinking of this way too seriously, Ring. It's supposed to be for people especially that haven't played the game, which is going to be a lot of the viewers of this show. It's supposed to be taken at face value. They want to relate it to real life in a way that normal people that haven't played the game and that don't understand a lot of the background context of the game itself are going to snag onto that. That's more than likely why they're doing it.
Is that just fear mongering though?
Oh, dude,
everything's fear mongering.
It's a zombie show. That's
have you seen the news?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a horror.
What are zombies, but not reflections of ourselves?
Man, the day that they make, well, no, I'm sure they have already because there's that Warhammer streaming service. But they're gonna I'm gonna go watch one of these shows. I'm gonna watch his. I'm gonna be like, I don't really believe that these god worshipping, Marines or whatever. I don't know. I'll find something to pick apart about his shit. But dude, they literally spent like 2 minutes on it, and they haven't mentioned it since. I mean, let it go. Seriously. But Obs, I wanted to hear your opinion or your thoughts or whatever.
No, I'm really enjoying the show a whole lot. Granted, it's probably been well over a decade since I played the first Last of Us, but that first episode where they're trying to get out of the scene, even when they're at that T intersection where it shows like going right to Austin and going left is the other way. It's like that's like pretty much scene for scene for the video game.
It was amazing. That was so cool.
Yeah, and I'm really enjoying the story. I really appreciated how they did the clicker, just the effects, the details, the movement, the sounds. They're being very true to it, and to the extent, yes, probably taking some liberties of creative liberties, but at the same time, they're still trying to be very true to the source material. But I'm really enjoying the how they're doing it. This is how it should be done with the transition of video game to video format, whether it's a show or a movie, because again, yeah, kind of like the whole Resident Evil show on Netflix. That was the disaster, and it only lasted one season, which was good, and that was the horrible show. I'm all going into a tangent with that, but they did such a poor job with that, and like this, hopefully going forward sets the bar of this is how it could and should be done with the interpretation of a video game going into a video format.
I am a little terrified of them. I shit to bed. It's really good right now.
I don't know. We'll see how I don't know how many episodes it's gonna be, but
I heard 9, but I'm not too sure.
I just hope they don't kill. I just hope they don't kill Joel in like the first episode of season 2 or some shit like that.
I feel like they're gonna milk this for like at least 2 seasons.
That will be fine. I just don't want them to give it the Walking Dead treatment and
I don't.
They don't know when to end it.
A show needs to know when to end, and it needs to end, fantastically. That's the best thing a show can get, is to know when to end and end properly. Tie up the loose ends.
HBO's said will milk whatever they can. Look at the House of Dragons bullshit.
I've never been a Game of Thrones fan. So.
Hopefully they learned their lesson, or at least from Westworld, because Westworld, granted HBO got bought and they changed the ownership, but Westworld was 3 seasons. There's going to be a 4th season, but they shit canned that, and that was show just got very convoluted. But they gotta hopefully learn from that and just know when to properly end it. And obviously I haven't finished Last of Us 2, but depending on how that's gonna go out, and if they try to,
that gets crazy.
But hopefully they don't milk this to the over milk it or whatever. But I'm enjoying what I'm seeing right now. I'm curious where it's going, especially again, it's from the video game. I'm not gonna give anything away of the video game that will give away the story of the show, but I'm curious how it's gonna be. And I guess the character for the Firefly that was trying to get Ellie out, that was the actual voice actor, the female voice actor in the game. They really? Brought her back. Yeah, they brought her back onto in this show, so that was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Amazon, if you're listening, take notes. Don't fuck up Fallout, because I'm a big Fallout fan. So they gotta
let things get fucked.
Don't say that.
What I've seen from the scene material though is actually pretty good. Like,
I've seen the pictures and the sets look nice, but don't.
I'm sure. Remember when the Halo stuff looked pretty good?
The Tacoma or the Tahoe or whatever the fuck.
Here's the much Fallout, which actually works in Amazon's favor. From my understanding, they're not taking anything specifically from any of the storylines from any of the games.
They're making an original story in that universe?
Yes.
Interesting. That could work. I mean, there's plenty of stories that can be told.
Right, and it didn't have to be in a place that we're familiar with already.
Fallout San Antonio.
Yeah. Well, we know nothing of what's going on in Texas. That's a whole other thing. But I do understand is that from what was stated that they're not going to use existing storylines because they already know how people are about that shit.
Just as long as they don't fuck it up, like as long as they don't fucking make it where the apocalypse was a result of aliens or whatever, which aliens are canon in the Fallout universe.
Yes, and aliens started the whole thing as far as we're aware. That's also a thing too. If you ever played the Fallout 3 DLC.
Yes, but what I mean is just like don't go crazy, don't just make an entertaining show. That's all.
They could draw well, I'm sure they already have a storyline and stuff like that set already since already production, but I could, if we were still in pre-production, I could see them drawing inspiration from Nuclear Break, which is a YouTube series which actually had things happen in the out west in California or Vegas, if you will, or that region, and that was a relatively successful series as far as I'm aware. And mind you that some things are goofy in Fallout.
Yes, they are.
It's intentionally. Yeah.
I do want to see an everyman story. Like almost all the Fallout stories are, this nobody.
The lone wanderer,
the courier,
survivor,
the lone survivor, the vault dweller. It's always like some Joe everyman that becomes like this wasteland legend. And that's what I'm kind of hoping to see. This nobody who gets thrust into the middle of some sort of quest or conflict, and by the end of it, he's this fucking power armored badass. Like that would be what I want to see. But
I do see from what I saw, it looks like it's just the show would be occurring on the East Coast, because we're seeing a lot of Fallout 4 related material, which makes sense since that's the current art style or the
most recent.
Yeah, so that would make sense.
I do also want to hear that classic music on the Pip-Boy. That's a Fallout staple. You can't have, I don't want to set the world on.
They do that, dude. They already have the rights to that stuff already.
Well, I hope they do. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yes. Last of Us. Good show.
We're done with that. We're on the Fallout right now.
We're ending with that. Then we randomly got a Fallout
thing. We're doing here. We're talking about stuff that already passed on.
Anyway, everyone's last thoughts of The Last of Us.
Didn't watch the last episode, and I kind of already losing interest.
Well, I will go first then. I am completely immersed. I will not talk about the third episode because we have, as we mentioned, Val hasn't seen it, and I do not want to spoil it for her, as it is, in my opinion, an amazing episode. If you are a fan of the game and you're, pretty stringent about the game content, you may or may not like the third episode because it does kind of stray from how it works in the game. But to me, it was a very powerful episode. It was very well done, and it was just masterful, and it is representation done right. And that's all I'm going to say. But I loved it, and I'm loving it so far. I cannot wait until the next episode. But who's next?
It's so fucking good. That's one.
Jess?
I am seriously enjoying the show. And I am very grateful that I'm able to enjoy it with everyone here at Odds and Ends. I'll just say that much for sure.
Val, any thoughts on what you've seen thus far?
I mean, everything that I've seen, I've liked. It's been, I've had a lot of questions, and I've been pretty much spamming people trying to get those answered. But it's, and that's just because I have zero context, as I've never played these games. But I've enjoyed it very much. Those clickers, like you said earlier, those things are creepy as heck, and but I've enjoyed everything that I've seen and everything that I've watched, and it's just been, I personally find it really immersive. I personally find it that it is, it's very, to me it feels like it's something that could happen in real life, and again, that's just someone coming in with zero context, but it does feel like this could be something that does happen. Maybe not with cordyceps, but maybe something else. Ring will give you a
21 bulleted list on how that's not possible. 21
exactly,
bulleted
right?
list.
But because it feels that way, I feel like that's where the majority of those views are coming from, and it's really awesome. It is seriously awesome, and I cannot wait for more episodes to come out so I can enjoy them with all of you guys.
Val, you have thoughts on what you've seen so far?
For The Last of Us?
Yeah, just you liking it, not liking it, just general thoughts.
I'm thoroughly enjoying the show. I started the game, didn't complete it as usual, and I've watched Ring do the full completion of the game, so I know what goes on in the game. But I think for me, what mind-blowing is how close they are matching the show to the game with a little bit of changes. Even with the changes they add, or not add, but they made to the show, it's still worth the watch. And I like how with the show it does, what is the word? it's meant for the people who have never seen the game, as well as those. Both parties can enjoy it, like the people who've seen the play the game and those who haven't. So I think they did very well with creating everything. And I will have to say this: my favorite episode would be the second one. It's, even though it's really sad, but my favorite, even though the whole daughter issue in the first episode that will never it just plays with your heart. Anyways, but yeah, I enjoyed this show very I'm enjoying it. Though I will say this, from what I've seen in the third episode, I forgot his name, but the guy who pretty much built a shelter out of out of his house. Yeah, he's a pretty much badass dude. I like that.
Did you get the same 7 Days to Die vibe that I did?
I got the yeah, pretty much.
He built the whole, like, a fucking found an abandoned town and basically built traps and fences and shit. I was like, oh man, this is 7 Days to Die.
He waited until everybody was evacuated. You need to go. Before he made his move, and he literally made a compound out of his town.
It's fucking great.
So good.
Sorry. And just the fact that he set traps, to me that's like seriously survival of the fittest. And for being the only one there, he handled that situation pretty well. But I think I want to know more about his situation or his character, because I felt like with how he had his setup, that he was expecting this to happen.
Oh, keep watching episode 3.
Maybe he's a doomsday.
He's just like, yeah, I mean, like everyone, it's just kind of what he is. Like, but yeah, you get more of it in episode 3.
Yeah, finish watching it. It's worth it. Believe me. Get a box of tissues.
I do plan to.
Because episode 4 is gonna pop off, and you need to be ready.
Episode 4, they're setting up the road trip. They already set up the road trip.
It's gonna pop off. Yes. I love it. I can't wait.
Spoilers.
I mean, they're just gonna pop off.
How are we gonna spoil it if it hasn't even come out yet? We haven't even seen it. Anyway, Obs, Nick, final thoughts or anything?
Obs, last thoughts on Last of Us.
I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying the character of Ellie. Just she's a kid born into this post-apocalyptic environment, and she's a kid, so a lot of things that we've taken for granted, it's new to her. And
when you saw Mortal Kombat 2,
and the fact that she's never seen a car.
Real quick, let's pull one out for that one kid at the very start.
Huh?
The kid who walked into the camp or to the place, and they're like, "You're safe now. You're okay."
Oh yeah.
And then 30 seconds later, she's in a fucking body bag,
being burned.
But and it was like right after Joel lost his daughter, so we're still like, they didn't even give us time to recover from that death scene to move on to another.
Dude, this is
hey, how's your heart doing? Oh, bad. Let's stomp on it again.
Yeah, the whole time.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Go ahead.
The whole time, like during the first episode, with Jess not playing the game, she was like, "What the hell's going on?" Like, we're messaging each other through like, chats, and she's like, "Did they really did that?" And like, she was like, I felt her expression, like projection through that message with everything. She was asking me like details, like, what's this, what does this mean, what is that, and I'm like, let's bring Ring into this conversation so he can explain what's going on, because he is the person. You're asking the wrong gal here. But
well, the thing is about me is that I don't do well with child death in any movie or show. I'm just I most of the time I just cannot watch a movie or a show, especially if it involves children. That's just because I am a mom and it hurts me on a personal level. But this particular show, it's got me way too far in to not be squeamish about stuff like that at this point. But she's absolutely right. I was horrified when I saw the first scene. I don't remember the second scene. Maybe it was something that I just wasn't paying attention to at the time. But the first scene...
just wait till you get to the cannibals. Oh, it's great.
It got me right in the feels, and I was just... I lost it.
Yeah, the cannibals ain't shit compared to the brothers.
Especially...
That's gonna fucking break you.
When we told
anyway, let's wrap it up before we get into spoilers.
Yeah.
Well, especially when we told Jess that, hey, come watch the show with us. It's a funny rom-com. You'll love it.
Hey, we weren't lying about the rom.
Get ready for some fucking heartbreak and some fucking soul episodes. Oh,
it's
man.
It's gonna get good. It's gonna... Oh, you're gonna feel...
I was gonna have one last tidbit. I'm just kind of curious how they're gonna do. I'm not trying to poke holes in the story or the continuity, but in episode 1, at the very end, when the guard was testing them, and he tested Ellie, and she tested positive. I'm just kind of curious how that's gonna play out. Maybe it's too early in the show, because
I thought that was in the second episode or something like that.
No, it was the first one.
Yeah, it was the very end of the first episode, but basically, obviously she's special because she's immune, and right off the bat she was telling them like, I'm not infected, because obviously she's been bitten.
She's a carrier, is what she is.
Well, remember,
yes,
Joe.
That's what I was trying to. That's what I'm trying to get to, because she says she's not infected, but the test, when she was tested, turned red, so that means she is wrong, because she's technically a carrier.
Right.
So I'm kind of curious how that's going to plan out, because she's technically wrong, and so she has a chance of spreading said infection. So I'm kind of curious if that's going to play out into this the show.
I think that has remained unchanged from the game variant of it, which is
because in the game too, she's like infected technically.
Yeah, she's a carrier.
She goes off.
She can infect people, but she's not.
She's asymptomatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like COVID. You can carry it, but not infect others. But you yourself would not be.
Well,
infected.
I think that's like in the thing. Like, when she's a cure, they want to find out how she be asymptomatic.
Right.
But we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. And again, I think they're doing great so far. Hope they don't fuck it up, because they could. I just don't want it to, because so far it's pretty damn good.
Yeah. But they could.
Anyone could fuck up anything, but hopefully
anyone can fuck up anything. It's true. But anyway, that's a good place to wrap it up. Don't fuck it up. It's been a podcast with me, Nicholas Zombie, joined today. See, I just fucked it up. There it goes.
Damn.
Joined today by Espionage DB7.
The one, the only highly rated, unplated, imitated, but never ever duplicated.
Valkyrie Grinder.
That is me. Woo. And I.
Ringleader. Jess.
Thank you very much.
And of course, our exalted one, Obsolete 2003.
Exalted.
Yo. Settle down.
You said it.
Oh,
sorry.
Pshaw. Anyway, it's been a podcast. Thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed. If you want what you heard today, hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. We want to know what we can do better. It's all engagement. It doesn't matter what you hit.
Hate watch us for all we care.
I guess it's something we have anything really to hate.
For you not to hate us.
Yeah, just watch us. I don't care.
Just hate Dobbs.
And no one can do that. That's impossible. Anyway, thanks for joining us today. See you later.
Bye.